Tuesday, 8th March 2016 shall mark the 105th anniversary of a date in the international calendar of events to commemorate women's struggle for the recognition of their contributions to society and for the acceptance of their rights as an equal partner with men. It was a century ago that over 1 million inhabitants of 4 European countries, Austria, Denmark, Germany and Switzerland, took to the streets in rallies campaigning for women's rights, the right to work, the right to vote, the right to hold public office, and for the end of all forms of discrimination against women. But as bold and as significant an event that had been, it was not until the year 1975, some 64 years later, that the United Nations resolved that March 8th be specifically dedicated to focus on the aspirations of gender equality. This year, United Nations has highlighted international focus under the thematic banner, Planet 50-50 by 2030, Step It Up for Gender Equality. This theme ties in the objective of gender equality with the Sustainable Development Goals Agenda 2030. The Sustainable Development Agenda contains 17 goals, most of which include a gender element, such as a goal which includes a commitment to ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education by 2030. But SDG 5 is described as a standalone goal, which deals exclusively with the issues specific to women and girls, with objectives such as to ensure that all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere are eliminated by 2030, to ensure that all forms of violence against all women and girls in public and private spheres, including trafficking, sexual exploitation, and other forms of exploitation are ended. The urgent need for more specifically identifying targeted goals and setting a fixed timeline is underscored by data recently published by the World Economic Forum. It cannot be denied that progress has been made internationally in achieving the recognition of women's rights and valuing women's contributions. However, the aspects in which gains have occurred may be somewhat illusionary. The World Economic Forum in 2014 forecasted that gender parity internationally would be attained by the year 2095. However, in 2015, a re-evaluation of the nature and pace of progress demonstrated that there was a real hemorrhage in overall progress. The revised estimate concluded that the global gender gap would not be closed until 2133 if we didn't step it up. In Trinidad and Tobago, the gains in certain spheres may result in a similar mirage. We have witnessed major advancements in women's achievements. In the political arena, we have had a female Minister of Finance, a female Minister of Energy, 3 female Attorneys General, and a female Prime Minister. In the Parliament, we have had a female Chief Whip in both houses, a female Leader of the House, a female Presiding Officer in each of the houses, and currently, for the first time, we have female Presiding Officers simultaneously in both chambers. In education, the progress of women and girls surpassing that of their male counterparts is well known. However, one only has to glance at the dailies to see that our society has a long way yet to travel in the areas of making women safe, in the protection of women and girls, and that no longer women can be considered the vulnerable gender. It is heartening that there are some other developments taking place during this year's observances, which recognize that the advancement of women's rights cannot be confined to a movement for women by women. The adoption of initiatives like He for She and the approach taken by our own local organizations in promoting the agenda under the theme gender parity may assist in our stepping it up. Men too have a role in advancing the rights of women, and in enlisting them in our cause may result in their appreciation of the importance of supporting and respecting their wives, girlfriends, female co-workers, female classmates, and females in general. As parents, we must engender in our sons and daughters respect not just for the opposite sex, but respect for fellow human beings. As more senior adults, we must accept responsibility for shaping the minds of our young men and women. Specifically, in our roles as members of Parliament, we must be acutely aware that every word we speak, every action we perform, and every responsibility that we refuse to discharge comes under the scrutiny of those who are most impressionable. In a world of Facebook and Instagram, the images to which our young people are exposed are now more instant, graphic, and uncensored. It is therefore increasingly more important for us to ensure that our conduct, both in private and in public, is always exemplary, demonstrating the parity of gender to which we say we ascribe. May I take this opportunity to wish our nation and the international community a reflective and progressive International Women's Day.